Welcome back to Paycheck Powerhouse, where each week I'm helping you unpack the mindset and strategies to break the paycheck to paycheck cycle and live debt-free. I'm your host, Paula. I'm excited to be here with you today. Today's video is all about overcoming low income. Very specifically is when you're at the start line, either because you just graduated college or you're thinking about changing career perhaps, or maybe you just took some time off, like a stay-at-home mom, and you're trying to get back in the game, or you've been working for years in very low income jobs and you want to get to the next level. One of the recent comments that I read on my low income video, which is extremely popular, thank you very much for watching, by the way, but it mentioned that I don't understand what low income is. So I started thinking about that, about the whole low income situation, because unless you're in some miracle job through networking, through your parents, we all start there. We all start with low income jobs. But I want you to know that you don't have to stay in low income. So I thought about this a lot and I broke it down into steps. What would I do if I would start all over again? And what would I do to fast track my journey through a higher income bracket? The first step is researching careers. And I find it very interesting that we have this whole debate about education, non-education. I don't really think at 18 you know what you're doing. You just sort of have to pick a degree. You're in it. You don't know if you like it. And then there's all this mountain of debt. And then you have this pressure to pay it back. And then there's even more pressure to use this degree and just start your career. But I don't think you know what you like until you actually do it. So you sort of have to either have an internship or work on the side in different fields to experiment to know what you like. But before any of that happens, the first step is to research. You literally have all your tools available right now from Google and look up a different career path. Could be something that you know people around you that are doing and they're enjoying. Perhaps you noticed throughout the years some fields that you think you might enjoy. I always recommend going for your passions in that direction, not necessarily to make money out of a hobby. That's a different topic, but sort of look at what you're good at. If you're good at arts, if you're good at numbers, if you're good at writing, if you're good at reading, if you enjoy any of these categories, then that's sort of your start point to where your research should start. For me, for example, I was very good at math. So math numbers are really my forte. Usually with a math degree, you can either be a teacher or, statistical modeling, and I tried teaching. They do not make a lot of money. Even though I enjoyed it, that wasn't enough for me. But I have those skills with me, and those have helped me build on to the next level. So throughout your journey of experimenting with different jobs, you sort of plant these seeds inside of you, and then one day you're going to mix them, and then the strangest combination will happen that will spark this passion that will end up being your career. But until then, you have to taste a little bit of a few things until you know what it is that you like. The research part is very important because you need to have an outlook of a list of jobs that you might be able to do with your skills. And then once you sort of narrow down to, let's say, 2-3 different career paths, you then also need to research the levels that they have, like what is the entry-level title, mid-level title, senior-level title. You have to look at the competition. And most importantly, you have to look at salary. How much is the top tier going to make? If you're a senior in that role, if you have 10 years in that role, how much money are you going to make? We all know that in the medical field, there's really high ceiling for income potential, right? So those are the types of things that you should be looking for. For example, more concrete in supply chain where I am, I wish I did this research because I did not know that the income is not that high. There are other jobs like an analyst, for example, that pay a lot more. So bottom line is we all have to put in the 40 hours a week. If you have to work, right? If you have to get educated, why not do it towards something that will also provide materialistic rewards, because life costs money, right? So we all need it. But money is not everything. So if you are very passionate about a job and a career path that might not be or it's either very risky, like in arts, for example, I think there's a lot of actors, and yes, the top tier makes a lot, but there are very slim chances that you're gonna get there, right? So you have to look at a sort of a reasonable level. And if you know that you're not going to make a lot, but you absolutely love what you're doing, then That's it. That's all that matters, really. The end goal in life is to be happy, right? And money will not bring you that. Money will just take away the small problems. But this video is about how to increase your income. So do your research, look at every tier, how much money does the role make? That should set your path so that you set your realistic financial expectations. Step 3 is to look at requirements. It's very, very basic. Go to salary.com and put in the job title that you're looking for. And then requirements. What do you need to know? What type of experience and what kind of certifications or degrees do you need to qualify for those roles? Once you know the education that you need to back up that position, now you can move on to step 4. Step 4 is to look up the cheapest education possible that will get you qualified for that role. Now, in my experience, what I've noticed is that schools love to give us this narrative that the title and the name of the school, the university, are so important. A university is more important than the local community college. The GPA is so important. Let me tell you, nobody looks at that, at least not the majority of the population. I'm sure there's the Ivy League ones, which come with their own set of networking and costs, but the majority, all the other universities are sort of equal. Nobody knows about them. Most likely you will work in a different state than where you got your college degree, university degree, master's degree. So outsiders from different states will not understand the importance of your university versus the next door community college. So what I'm trying to say here is look at the cheaper alternatives, community colleges as a resident, because those rates are much lower. And try to get certified, get your degree, get your bachelor's degree. As a first step, I recommend just getting your bachelor's degree because that is just the society's minimum right now. That's like your ID. It's just sort of, you have to have it. And if that's not enough, then you will have something to build on towards your master's degree. If you want to reach that level, if you think you're, let's say, at level 2 or level 1 and you're trying to move forward in your career to earn even more, then you want to look for companies that support the master's degree so they can pay for it and have tuition reimbursement. So cheapest way, look at community colleges that will give you the degree that you need to get qualified to start the career that you want. And while you're getting your degree, step number 5 is an internship. Very, very important. While you're studying, and let's say you have a full-time job, look for an internship that is paid. You will probably do part-time internship with only like 10, 20 hours a week, and that allows you to still be a student and get paid to be an intern. Why the internships matters because this will be your ticket into any company. If you do a really good job as an intern, they will want to most likely hire you, or you can already add that as experience in your resume. Collect as many internships as you can possibly afford because they're not paid very well and they do take up time, but it translates into experience, which is priceless. This is what your end goal looks like: experience, degree and experience. It's much easier to find a job where you already interned versus brand new candidate with zero experience after you finish college. It's much, much harder that way because you have no experience and nobody's going to hire you. They're going to look for interns that already had some sort of exposure to that line of work. That's really what it comes down to increase your income and to increase your standards and quality of life. You're going to gain experience as much as possible, even on lower income experience, such as entry level or internship, but it adds years and years and years. And so then the next step will be is once you graduate, you have a few internships under your belt, now you can start competing with entry-level full-time jobs. Once you do a full-time job, even if paid low for a few years, past the 3-year mark, you can now qualify for more experienced jobs, tier 2 levels. So this is where you now look at degree and experience. Your quality of life will increase automatically the moment you get a full-time job in your career. Now you're going to start seeing benefits, a time off, paid sick leave, a vacation days, and remember the experience is growing and growing and growing. At the 3-year mark, you can comfortably start looking for either internal promotions or at another position in another company where now you have a degree and 3 years experience. So now this makes you mid-range for most jobs. So that means an automatic 30% increase. You have to get that, and you have to sell yourself. This is the path that I recommend. You can do this at any age. I started it again in my 30s because I was teaching, and then I took a really big break because we started our family, and then I wanted to be paid a lot more. And this is literally the path that I took, minus the internship. I didn't really know about the internships and how valuable they were until I was in my full-time job. And not all companies do internships, so you also look at that as well. And I saw how valuable it is for the interns, because then that's sort of like halfway through the door, they already have sort of a guaranteed position full-time if there is room in that company. It's doable, and then you sort of reassess yourself, and once a year you should look forward to what is your goal for next year. Is it more money? To educate yourself, you constantly need to be on the lookout. You have to say yes anytime there's an opportunity coming towards you to learn more, to take over more responsibility. You have to say yes to all of these and just try to go the extra mile whenever possible in every role that you do. Don't look at just your plate, what's given in front of you. You have to reach for more, ask for more, do an amazing job, and be recognized for it. And then anytime there's a question, who would like to do this project or that project, be the first one to jump and have that mentality to just keep searching, keep going, be curious, work hard. Then eventually the years will pile up, and then you will be on the other side of the table where you have several offers and companies fight for you to be on their team. Good luck in your search. Comment down below if this has worked for you, where you are in the process, if you have any questions, if you have any tips to share with us, we'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you in my next video.